welcome to the Video Request Monthly. My name is Mark Senezic, and in this episode we're going to be looking at the rise and fall of Cannon Films. Now this episode was requested by patron Gamer Down Under, and I actually joined him in his movie room where we discussed this very topic. Cannon Films began as a low-budget studio founded by Dennis Friedland and Christopher C. Dewey on October 23, 1967. Cannon produced 56 films from 1967 to 79. These films were mostly forgettable bad 70s comedic sex romps or distributions of Swedish sex art films. The films were never all that successful, and by 1979, Cannon Films was in such deep financial trouble that they were forced to sell. Menachem Golan and Yoram Globus were two Israeli cousins who dominated the Israel film scene, making a string of highly successful films in Israel, and were basically the masters of Israeli cinema. But their goal was always larger. They wanted worldwide recognition, they wanted worldwide fame, and they wanted to make it big in Hollywood. That was their goal, that was their dream. In 1979, they bought a small studio in Hollywood called Cannon Films. From 1979, the Golan and Globus reign of Cannon Films began, and the film scene was changed forever. Following their purchase of Cannon Films in 1979, Golan and Globus moved on to purchase other major film institutions such as Thorn EMI Screen Entertainment, HBO, and the British ABC Cinema. These conglomerate of businesses owned by Golan and Globus became known as the Cannon Film Group.
At the center of the universe, at the border between the light and the dark, stands Castle Grayskull. For countless ages, the sorceress of Grayskull has kept this universe in harmony. But the armies of darkness do not rest, and the capture of Grayskull is evermost in their minds. For to those that control Grayskull will come the power to be supreme, the power to be almighty, the power to be masters of the universe.
Well, here we are in the Gamer Down Under's movie room. This is one of the first patrons we had on Patreon for Legio-Centurion Films, and he's requested a number of videos, and this is one that he has requested.
So if you had to list top 3 Cannon films, what would they be?
Top 3. It's hard with Cannon Films because there's a lot that there's a number of films that I haven't seen that I would like to see. But out of the films that I have seen, my top 3 would have to be...
No particular order.
No particular order. Masters of the Universe. Mm-hmm. I'm going to say Highlander because we haven't spoken about that. And I'll say Bloodsport because that does have some very good action set pieces. It is set in Hong Kong, which is a favourite city of mine.
And it's kind of a Mortal Kombat.
That's it. I mean, it's famously is the film that inspired Mortal Kombat.
I would have to probably go, obviously, Bloodsport, Masters, And probably because I haven't watched the whole Cannon library yet, I'll go with Cyborg.
So,
I love the whole post-apocalyptic theme of that movie. Like life is just there's limited human population now. I think a plague has hit the earth.
yeah.
Yeah. Kind of fitting at the moment. Plague has hit the earth, and obviously it's every man for himself. But
Post-apocalypse.
yeah, there's this gang of kind of modern day pirates which go around taking what they want, and there's a known cure to sort out this plague. And this cyborg, hence the name, is carrying the data for the formula for the cure. And she needs to get to a certain facility so they can produce it. And this main bad pirate guy learns about it, and he's like, "No, I want that formula. I want to be God."
Yeah.
And that guy, he's scary. he owns that role. He literally scares me. And it's very low budget, you can tell.
Yeah.
But I enjoy the action flicks, and obviously Van Damme has his cool 360 roundhouse kicks and everything.
Yeah. Cannon enjoyed early success with films that brought in money, even though the films often made were sometimes very strange and very confusing. In 1983, they signed a distribution deal with MGM. After a string of flops and cinematic disasters, however, that deal collapsed. By the late 80s, Cannon had managed to land another major film distribution deal with Warner Brothers. Cobra and Over the Top, both starring Sylvester Stallone, were released. Both films went deep in the red. Following these was the unwatchable Superman 4: The Quest for Peace. By now, Cannon was producing almost 43 films a year. Warner Brothers soon bailed, and Cannon was drowning in debt.
What was their most successful picture?
Probably the most successful film they ever made was with Frank or Francis Zaffarelli. He came to Yoram and Menachem with this idea for making a cinematic version of Otello, which is an Italian opera based on Shakespeare's Othello. And this was, and with these guys, Zeffirelli made, it's been described as one of the most beautiful films you could see on cinema. The images he was capturing, Zeffirelli is a master, old school master filmmaker. And he absolutely loved working with Menachem and Golan in Europe. And mainly because these two Israelis, worshipped Zeffirelli. So they were willing to go give him anything he needed to make his film because they knew that would guarantee a good film. So I would probably say Otello would be right up there.
Yeah.
That garnered some major award nominations. Definitely would have made in a lot of money for that one.
Well, you obviously know your Cannon history a bit more than I do. But yeah, the limited I do know is obviously Bloodsport.
Yeah.
That was probably, I think, everybody's introduction into Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Was that his first film?
It wasn't his first film.
First major film?
Very first major.
Yeah.
He'd done some small bits here and there.
Yeah.
But obviously that was the title he used for his vehicle to showcase his talents. And I personally feel he carries the film with his, he edited the movie.
Yeah.
He choreographed the fight scenes,
Mhm.
and he showcases his abilities, obviously, you know, the high kicks, his speed, and his signature roundhouse kicks and everything like that. So that's what I mean by he carries that film. Like, that's a Jean-Claude Van Damme pick.
Yeah.
Amazing fight scenes, some cheesy bits, but
that end.
Yeah. But that's like everyone knows that.
Everyone knows that shot.
But yeah, obviously that, and as a kid I grew up loving the Masters of the Universe film.
As did I.
Wasn't really a He-Man kid in terms of toys, but I knew the movie.
Yeah.
And I was obsessed with the movie.
Yeah.
And like when you're a kid, like because I didn't know the toys or anything or the cartoon series much, I just took the film for what it was,
Yeah.
and I thought it was an amazing fantasy film.
Yeah.
Skeletor. Obviously, you're a kid, you're not really judging acting abilities, so I took Dolph Lundgren for what it was. Like
Yeah.
to me, it was just some cool,
Yeah.
muscular hero.
Yeah.
Yeah, I enjoyed what it is for what it was. Really good flick, and obviously another Jean-Claude Van Damme flick was Cyborg, which was, they had quite a few action stars, didn't they? Obviously they got Dolph Lundgren, Van Damme, some Chuck Norris flicks as well.
Chuck Norris and Charles Bronson.
Death Wish.
The Death Wish films. They had scripts that would come in, and they basically would put them into two piles. Which, for the Chucks, that's Chuck Norris film, that's Charles Bronson film. From around the mid 80s onwards is when they first had Chuck Norris. I think 85 or 86.
Actually, I just don't know why I glanced over it. Stallone. He did a couple of Cannon films as well.
Stallone famously was hired for a film called Over the Top. This was in the late Cannon period.
Arm wrestling.
Yeah, arm wrestling.
I have seen
Because
it.
you can build a lot of suspense when boom,
like,
it's done.
I've seen it. It's cheesy, but I enjoy it.
You enjoyed it?
Yeah.
The
I'll
box
show you
office.
sometime.
The box office didn't enjoy it. That was famously the film that did not help earn back the $25 million that Menachem Golan decided to pay Stallone for that film.
Yeah, wow.
That was also the period where we start to see an explosion of actors' salaries, I believe, because when Stallone was signed up for $25 million, every other actor in Hollywood was just like, get me that deal.
Yeah. Can you imagine what Schwarzenegger was like? I want that salary. Gosh.
Get me to the bank. So yeah, we're talking about Stallone. He did Over the Top.
He also did Cobra.
Yes, he did. I think that might have been before Over the Top.
I think that came about because Stallone was meant to be in Beverly Hills Cop. And
Really?
he
I didn't know that.
he got the script, and I think he changed certain aspects of it.
He obviously wanted it to be much more violent.
He wanted it darker. Never Schwarzenegger with Cannon. Schwarzenegger was
No.
kind of already
He
on
never.
his own roller coaster at the time.
He was. He began with the Italian filmmaker Dino De Laurentiis. That's where Schwarzenegger made his name with Conan. They bought for $250,000 the rights for Spider-Man from Marvel Films.
Is that all?
I believe at the time there was. Remember, this is pre Kevin Feige
Yeah,
by
true.
about 30 years.
It probably would have made Marvel flick half most of the production.
Oh yeah, they would have skimped on half. I mean, that's what happened with Masters of the Universe.
Yeah.
That was split. The production cost was split between Cannon Films and Mattel. And Mattel flipped the first half of the cash and then turned to Cannon Film and said, okay, now you pay the rest. And they said, we can't, we're broke.
Yeah.
Which is what happens when you produce 46 films in 1 year.
Hence the kind of
The lights out scene at the end.
the dark shot, like it looks like a fight scene you just kind of shot on your own home video. Like
They did the best. The director knew that was coming. He saw the writing on the wall. He knew the state that the studio was in, and he just knew that any day they were going to come along, hand in front of the camera and say, "No, you're done."
yeah.
And so he designed it so when the swords clash in that final battle, he designed it so like, all right, when this happens, both swords are swords of power, so it will draw all the power from the surrounding castle, plunge the city into darkness, then we can go back in 6 months and do a really quick battle sequence to finish the film,
Yeah.
which is what they did.
I couldn't imagine what it would actually feel like. You know, you're making this film for a movie company,
Yeah.
and obviously a toy company that wants it to succeed.
Yeah.
And both at the time were kind of dwindling down. Obviously,
Yeah,
He-Man was kind of he had his heyday. And
Yeah, He-Man, when the production started for the Masters of the Universe, He-Man property was top notch. So Mattel came up to Cannon Films and basically slapped a, what do you call it? The not quality of the character, but the reputation of the character. He-Man doesn't kill. You don't do this. You don't do that. This is what He-Man is. You can't have He-Man killing, so you can't have, you've got to have these stormtrooper-like characters that can, some sparks fly and they fall down and there's your action.
Yeah.
So no killing from He-Man because that's not what He-Man does. By halfway to later half of the production, He-Man sales had fallen off a cliff. I think the cartoon series was wrapping up, and they're like, do anything. He killed, rape, murder. Just get this film to succeed. We've got to sell more toys.
And how'd that work out for him?
Well, the design was off in a number of places. I mean, as beautiful as the set is for Castle Grayskull in that film, Castle Grayskull is not that beautiful. It's a giant cave with a very elegant throne and some deep pits that plunge into the depths of Eternia and this sort of dark, gloomy thing. I mean, that's what Castle Grayskull is supposed to be. It's not a shining beacon. It is a haunted castle deep in a forest where no one goes. That's the reputation that the sorceress creates because she doesn't want normal Eternians poking around this thing. It's supposed to be that place no one goes. And they've obviously turned it into, a stunning, glimmering citadel, which...
I actually enjoyed the set piece in that movie.
The set does look beautiful, and they actually designed it for the final battle scene.
Yeah.
The director wanted this. That final battle scene was supposed to basically tour the entire set. So you'd see every part of that set as He-Man and Skeletor battle out probably for 10 or 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Which would have been fantastic to see. It might have actually, I won't say helped save the film, but it certainly would have raised the bar of the film a little bit. Because there are sequences where there's a lot of walking around Earth by the heroes. The most memorable parts in that film do come from the villains, especially Skeletor. He steals the scene. Some of the filmmakers at the time, some of the producers at the time thought Skeletor actually looked quite bad, which was a very interesting thing that I discovered in my research because I grew up with the film. Skeletor was the one thing in that film that I loved. I thought he looked fantastic. He looked dark, evil, and the quality of the acting was just absolutely phenomenal. Mm-hmm. Frank Langella played the role of Skeletor. He didn't know much at all about He-Man at all, but his son was into it. Now this raises an interesting, I've heard two stories about why he took this role. Apparently, one story, and this is a story he told, so I lean towards this story, but he took on the role because his son loved it, or he mentioned it to his son, and he said, "Dad, you've got to take that role, that'll be amazing." And so he did it for his son to play this role. And then he just infused, of all things, Shakespeare into the role of Skeletor, which just made him so much more evil.
Report, Evelyn. Speak. We have sealed the gates to the city. The castle is secure, and we are closing in on the Thenorian as we speak.
Yes, and He-Man.
He continues to lead the resistance. I assure you, we will have him before the day is out.
I want him kneeling at my feet.
After all this time, Grayskull is ours.
Ow! Set He-Man free! You are all aware of the penalty for failure.
Give me one more chance, Lord Skeletor, and we will succeed.
I am not in the giving vein this day. Do you hear, sorceress? The final moment has come. All the forces of Grayskull, all the powers of the universe will be vested in me. Me! And you will cease to exist.
It is not too late to undo this madness.
Madness. I demand the destitution, shame, and loneliness of Scorn. It is my destiny. It is my right. Nothing will deter me from it. Where are they? Where are your friends now? Tell me about the loneliness of good, He-Man. Is it equal to the loneliness of evil?
I think all the original fans, when they look at what Skeletor should look like on the big screen, they're looking at Frank Langella. They love the cartoon. There's some great stuff in the cartoon, but it's the live action Skeletor that we love to see because we want to see our villain not be a buffoon.
Yeah, I suppose it was probably going to be difficult because you have the cartoon, which is very campy.
It is, yes.
When I think of Prince Adam, yeah?
Prince Adam, yeah.
Prince Adam, like, he's wearing pink when he's in his normal mode. When he's He-Man, he's got that furry loincloth and his big muscular dude. And you got Skeletor, who's the bad guy, but he's, cracking jokes. I'm like, I like to be evil. It's like, yeah, how are we going to put that on film?
Yeah.
So what Frank came up with, that's his name.
Yeah, Frank Langella.
I think he did an excellent job.
Yeah,
I think they
absolutely
set the right Skeletor tone for that type of film.
Yes, definitely.
And I even enjoyed. I enjoy it for what it is. Obviously, it's not a film masterpiece, but thank you, Cannon, for doing it.
Yes.
So, what year did they officially close the doors? Yeah.
I believe the company formally was defunct 1994.
Okay.
Menachem Golan and Yoram Globus ended. They actually split. 1989 was the last year where those two were in charge. I think Menachem Golan left and started 21st Century Pictures.
Okay.
Yoram Globus continued on for a couple of years with an Italian financier who turned out to be a bit of a con man and a raider. They saw him as a bit of a knight in shining armor, when in fact he was coming to actually break it up, sell it off, and make a lot of money out of the whole thing. He was, after a couple of years, actually arrested and sent to jail. And then another couple of guys took on the company to try to salvage something, but by then the debt was just too much, and I think by 1994 the company was formally done. They did give us some amazing movies. They gave us some amazingly bad movies, and Either way, you're going to have in the film library something you will enjoy or enjoy to laugh at.
Yeah. Yeah. So let that be a lesson. Quality over quantity.
Yes.
And yeah, let us know what you think of Cannon Films, your memories and history with the company. Or if you're just learning about them, obviously ask questions in the comment section and we will send you links. And yeah, enjoy.
Ciao. Well, that was our episode today. Thank you very much for joining me. I hope you got a lot out of it. Thank you very much to the Gamer Down Under for joining me on this episode. Thank you again for requesting this episode. If you'd like to request an episode of Video Request Monthly, jump on board Patreon. $5 a month to join my Patreon page is all it takes. You get access to all sorts of great posts and blogs and polls and videos. There's exclusive content on there, and you can also request videos. Any topic, and I will research and deliver a video, and over time, the more videos requested, the more of a library of personalized videos from me to you get. So that's pretty exciting. Next time, who knows what the topic will be? I'm not sure myself yet. We'll most likely actually be perhaps selecting my own topic for the next one. I think that could be very interesting, make a bit of a surprise. Anyway, till next time, folks, keep an eye on other videos I'll be producing. More unboxing videos headed your way. Check them all out on Patreon or YouTube or wherever you're watching this. Have a great day. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay inside if you can. Ciao.
I'll be back.